leaps and bounds, as in the discoveries about life within the womb and advancements in medicine have proven just as early, a fetal human can survive independent of his mother. However, in the realm of legal rights, the abortion debate remains the final lingering human rights tragedy as it fails to come to an agreement on when a fetal human should receive the rights that born persons possess. We extend rights to all other persons, no matter the stage of life, development, or ability to care for themselves, and rights to live are also extended to certain animals protected by law. If we can recognize the legal rights to life in all these other instances, why do we fail to extend these rights to the unborn human? This is why I stand on the statement that if life begins at conception, so does personhood. Thank you. Judges are next and open for questions.
I just want to say I enjoyed reading your papers so much. I think my first question would be, what conclusion would you hope for from someone reading your paper? Perhaps someone with the opposite view of yours.
My hope would be that the Lord would speak to them in the ways that they don't understand about this topic, and that they would just understand that every life has a purpose that the God has planned and written out.
You mentioned the science that has grown, leaps and bounds in the discoveries about life within the womb, and also how medical advancements have made it possible for, and have they've proven just how early a fetus can survive independent of the mother. Do you know how early that is?
I do not.
Okay.
I didn't really focus on that.
Yeah.
I wanted to focus more on the legal realm than that side. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Super good job. Super well written. Such a clearly stated. Your points were clearly stated. But can you just restate your thesis for us so we're on the same page?
If life begins at conception, so does personhood.
Awesome. And can you define? I know you took great steps to spell out the different personhoods, but can you just maybe give an overview of how you would define personhood?
So the definition of personhood from the Merriam-Webster dictionary is the fact or state of being a person.
I'm ready now. Okay, Madison, why did you choose this topic?
I chose this topic because I've been very interested in this and done a lot of research the past couple years, and it's also very personal to me because when my mom was pregnant, she was pressured by people to have an abortion, so it just made me really interested to dive deeper and understand the logistics and all of that.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Did this give you the confidence to feel you could argue or debate a person that is pro-choice?
Yeah, I've done a lot of research in the past on this and feel very confident in just having a discussion with someone who is pro-choice.
Okay. Do you plan on sharing this topic or your ideas with a broader audience?
If the Lord calls me to, for sure, but I haven't felt that calling yet, so.
And then, to you, which was your strongest proof or argument, and why?
As like the opposing side, or
For you, like in your proof and argument towards your, like your pro-life stance against the pro-choice.
I would say that my strongest argument is I don't know, all of them are pretty strong. That's why I included all the ones that I did, because I felt like those ones are the strongest.
So why, I agree with you that your arguments were very, very compelling, and I really appreciated how you broke them up into scientifically, socially, legally, different, the cases that have produced what we should think of as personhood, so things like that. Why do you think so many people are still pro-choice with all of this evidence?
I think that it's a lot of the enemy attacking those people and them not being open to the truth because their hearts are guarded.
So a spiritual issue.
Yes.
How do you think we break through spiritual issues?
I think by loving them and showing them the love of Jesus and not pressuring them, but just showing them, treating them how Jesus would treat them.
Let's see, what would be the strongest point against yours? What would you say would be the strongest argument against?
I think,
According to your research.
yeah, I think one of the opposing arguments that I kind of had to sit on for a little bit and kind of think was if it came to rape and trying to discuss how that would work out.
Yeah. You didn't mention that in your paper. Can you maybe talk a little bit more about why you chose that?
So, a lot of the opposing side will say, well, what if it's like a 12-year-old girl that was raped and she becomes pregnant? And I would respond with kind of not going to an abortion with saying you can't undo a trauma with adding another trauma. You're just going to add on to it. That's kind of how I would respond to that.
What would you have done differently if you were to research this topic again or present this topic again?
I would research more of what I kind of said in my first paragraph with this medicine and proving how early women can survive. I'd do more research on that.
Can you talk more? So did you find any sources that attempted to refute your findings that being the same body, having the same DNA, and having the ability to breathe means that the fetal human has personhood? Like those three topics, right? Like very clear to state like it's the same body after it's born. It's got the same DNA, and what was the other? And then the ability to breathe. So those are like your three findings. I guess first maybe can you, in your research, like where did you find that those three categories would equal personhood? And then
Yeah, so personhood, there are 5 characteristics, which are the ability to reason, consciousness and capability to feel pain, self-motivated activity, and capacity, communication, and self-awareness. So I state in my paper that looking through all life stages from fetus to geriatric, not everyone will fit all 5 of these characteristics, but that does not change their personhood rights.
Did you find a response on the pro-choice side to that response of a fetus being should have the legal rights of personhood, where it seems like in all of those stages of personhood that you listed out, fetus being the first and then all the way through geriatric, did you find any answer to why the fetus stage is the only stage that a person does not, like if we could all agree that it is alive and that it should, that it is human and all those things, if we get there, because I think some people on the pro-choice side do get there, and then did you find any answer to that? Why would this is the only stage where a human does not receive legal right?
That's a good question. I did not find anything with that statement, but that would be something I would look into. Yeah.
loved your argument about the golden, the eagle, right? Like our protections over an eagle and even an unborn eagle, that, right? Like in an eagle's nest. And I guess how would you, I loved how you compared those rights, like someone coming, that's like obviously an opposite worldview, right? And so it's like a worldview issue. From your research, can you, I don't know, just talk more about that or share more? Were there other instances where maybe like the naturalist worldview, they're just elevating nature above humanity? You did a really good job of citing like the Bible, but maybe did you find any other research that you could present to someone with opposite viewpoint that might get them to see like we're valuing nature over conservation of human?
Yeah, so doing my research, I came across that there's arguments whether or not artificial intelligence should get legal personhood rights. And so I would bring that up, that they are not flesh, so why would they possess personhood rights before a fetal human?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting about the AI. I had no idea about that. So that was a little wild and boggled my brain a bit. But I loved that you prompted a correlation between the animals and how we should have the thoughtful idea. And you gave a question about the difference between scientifically and morally. I appreciated that. I thought that was really good. I don't have any more questions for you, Madison. Honestly, I just want to just tell you that you did an outstanding job on creating your senior thesis. I hope you're proud of yourself, because you should be. It was spectacular. All throughout your paper, your argument was strong, and I loved your thought-provoking question that allowed the reader to ask themselves. In one area, you posed the question, how can someone be charged with homicide of a fetal human if that human does not possess rights? You would think that that would be obvious. To me and to others, I believe this means, in fact, that they do. But also there are many other stories in court cases, like that of the Peterson case, where the persons were charged with homicide after murdering pregnant mothers and their infants. So I agree with you in the fact, to me, abortion is absolutely murder, and people should be charged with homicide. You broke down and defined each important personhood, including the different categories of each one, and defined those very clearly. And I appreciate that. You explained not only persons born possess all 5 characteristics, and gave an example about severely disabled and special needs of some people that are in need of constant and consistent assistance for basic life tasks. Those persons' lives matter, and so should a baby in the womb. Again, I was kind of appalled about the AI portion of having personhood, even though they don't qualify or meet any of the characteristics. So thank you for sharing your heart and senior thesis with us. I can see and hear your heart through your writing and wonderful questions. I appreciate the pro-life stance and your beliefs within that. I appreciate your clear explanation and definitions that strengthened your argument for life begins at conception, so does personhood. It helped to clarify many things for me, and in turn has helped to strengthen my thoughts, which will in turn enable me to be able to confidently share. You bless all of you, Madison.
Thank you.
I agree with all that. You said that you focused in on the legal personhood, which then would provide legal protection for every stage of personhood, which would be the goal, right? And then obviously spiritual change for our culture, right? I had a question on that case that you referenced, the 2002 case, the Patterson case. Is that a U.S. case?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know then, since in that case, the preborn fetus was legally declared a person, has that legal standing done, has it been used in other cases to dismantle the legal ability for abortion?
I don't know, that's a good question. I have never heard of it in any other arguments, unless when I was doing my research, it's the first I've heard of it. So
I think it's a really strong legal
Yeah.
standing, right?
Yeah.
I had a question on the Roe versus Wade. You said in your paper that Roe v. Wade came to be because of the 14th Amendment, or that's what was used for the legal grounds. Can you go more into that? How was that used to give victory in that case?
So, with the Roe v. Wade, Texas law made abortion illegal in those situations, and then the Supreme Court decided that the Constitution of the 14th Amendment protected the woman's rights to choose. So then later it was overturned, and they realized that the line in the 14th Amendment where it says, "Nor shall any state deprive any person of life," they were kind of contradicting themselves.
Right.
With that.
Was the woman's life at danger? Was it in danger, and was that the term that they actually used to make abortion federally legal?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Do you, in your opinion, do you agree with the legal definition of personhood as it states right now in our country?
The fact or state of being a person? Yes, I do.
Is there anything that you would add or retract from that definition?
That's a good question. I'd have to think more about that, but straight on the spot, I would say no.
Are there no more questions for Madison?
Maybe
Okay, so in your conclusion, after this research and after the time spent on this topic, what would you change right now about our current laws or the accepted truths legally in our country?
Can you ask that one more time?
So if you could, what would you change right now with the current laws on this topic in our country?
I would make abortion illegal.
Fully.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any ideas on replacing it or offering something in exchange?
I would consider Obria, which just kind of helps women talk through their circumstances and kind of bring peace over them, and again show them the love of Jesus.
it's just one more, and maybe haven't even considered this, but like if there's a risk to the mother, like her life, with going through with the pregnancy, I mean, in your research, did you come up with anything?
I